There's a corrupt official who's breaking it in the police structure today. Trips, traps, tips, taps, energy harvesting is a mouse trap. Somebody is realizing that, yeah, separate the love and hate. No one else gets to decide your fate unless you work with a mate. So somebody had a work face. Ooh, okay, faces are significant today. There's a lineup happening in a in an international case in a big way. So this person had a workplace affair with somebody who knew that they were corrupt and didn't care, and now there is blackmail happening behind the scenes that's causing someone to want to have nightmares and scream, but they can't because they are just, I'm being told, the kind who will weaponize the gun that was supposed to protect in order to be able to further disadvantaged people being neglected. Okay. Somebody is feeling dejected and disenfranchised from their own roots today. Someone has realized that they've been programmed and conditioned down certain pipelines in life that now realize that they are the reason why they have lost their wife. 7 deadly sins, it's true. Jealousy is a complex layer of multiple emotions. Drill down further, let the truth shine through. Someone is trying to break your spirit. You are stronger than them. Don't hear it. Keep your mindscape strong. Sing a positive song. So the problem is now that the workplace affair has been exposed and the corruption is known. The wife now has details that will support the side piece, who actually has decided to do the right side of soul work required, because I don't believe the side piece knew the full extent of how diabolical this person had gone. Masks and parades seem significant in the States today. Yeah, this masculine's too far gone. A lot of people are trying to poke and prod at you to trigger a response so they can feel superior. Boohoo. Don't mud wrestle like the animals. Respect you. So, the worst Captain America cosplay is a phrase I used the other day. It was a couple of weeks ago, okay? But it's one that I've also used the missing link for other bad cosplays at the end of the day. Calling all the lost and found, get back into alignment, flip your perspective around, and for God's sake, ground. Right, I'm being told now to move to some of my own personal decks that I use, that I've created through high levels of independent research, while also supporting other people in the spiritual community, particularly minorities. I'm quite aware that in the USA that education has been a challenge from a long time, since your nation's founding, okay? And I don't say it in a like superior kind of way. I barely have more than second level education here, okay? I have other independent certs that I've done. I have lots of small bite-sized certificates and a lot of on-the-job experience, okay? So when I say I'm working class, I mean it each and every day. I'm not talking with some, accredited PhD, but I also don't have that because of being working class, respectfully. 1 in reverse, deliberate trauma triggers. Somebody is concerned about your figures. As in, they already know how popular your skills are going to be, which means they never want you to actually have the ability to have even the seed money to do the... Yeah, I just got stabbed with a needle from a voodoo practitioner, actually. 1 moment, please. Yeah, Hierophant in the upright, okay? There's Hierophants come in many paths in life. I've been told that, it's the same with Emperor energies or Empress energies, okay? So some people will go to high-level depths in order to prevent feminines from working in spiritual paths at the end of the day, because they think that it destabilizes masculines who have created systemic structures of oppression. Let's be clear, okay? Hoodoo. Voodoo, hoodoo, what you don't dare do, people. The Prodigy is significant for somebody. I know it's a band that I liked when I was younger, actually. Text, April 4. So somebody is now realizing that they've compared some medical files, all right, which means that, yeah, hitman in reverse, okay. The person who was considered to be the threat is not in that particular kind of way, and they're now realizing that this investigation that was in a local jurisdiction now links into a larger investigation on a global disposition, which means that they've also looked at various other platforms where other people share certain communications and realize that the person who is targeted is actually a decent soul to their frustration. Facts. Poor vetting. So the reason why it's poor vetting in reverse, you see, is because the murder for hire didn't work actually. 12, which is December for some and a cycle complete for others, which means that 12 breaks down to 1 and 3, and 3 is the number associated with deity or divinity, depending on your path or purpose, respectfully. Investigator and covenant next, actually. Power down in reverse, you see, the fact that you haven't backed down and the fact that you still have access to your spiritual gifts is making some people feel very uncertain, actually. And they're pretending that they're, you know, indifferent at the end of the day, but the system is showing, because of the communication that is growing and the destabilization of somebody else's physical health, okay? The stress of what this person has done is coming back to haunt them, okay? Because the setup is in reverse, you see, and status in society has been powered down for somebody. Interpol in the upright, I'm being told. Death magic in reverse, you see. Some missing kids have been found, apparently, which means that it's a good thing, okay? Stocks in good companies that do investigation work is significant today. I'm just being told pinkies in the upright, okay? Not going to say any more than that, you see. Yeah. This is the reason why some shares go missing, respectfully. 5, 5, 5, 5, 5 is a number for somebody. Somebody's trying to figure out what percentage they can then use in order to be able to tap into this gift, alright? Because they now realize that this person might be really, really valuable in multiple different industries, actually, depending on what this person can do and who decides to connect with them too. False documents in the child systems in the upright. Because the last-ditch efforts of many abusers is to make the victim appear to be crazy for the rest of their life. Tate of lies. Not a golden wonder, you see. What do you want, my love or my money? 3 in reverse. Okay, so somebody is an atheist. Sound. I love having conversations with people who don't practice spirituality at the end of the day. I could have great conversations about other things like, I don't know, forensic investigations, computer science, diversity, multiple different things at the end of the day. Some of us, we like multidiscipline conversations and multi-path definitions. We like to look at things from different perspectives. Some of us is part of our mission. Invoice in reverse, you see. Exclamation mark in the upright, actually. Somebody is now terrified because they tried to tap into somebody else's money and the call is in reverse. Woo! Somebody's just gone off like a firecracker in this energy. Jumping jacks are significant for somebody. Oh. Yeah. Z. And Z. Shout out to people who understand diversity. Darvo in reverse, alright? Because some of us, we are triggered by other people externally, and then gentle souls end up having to hold space for us because the abusers won't actually. You know. 3-year vetting needed. Bogus contract. Somebody is losing the connections they've actually been, inside job in reverse. It's known that they were the one who did the hack. Word salad. Kidnapping attempt. Someone is just being a jelly belly. One of my oldest jokes, respectfully. dark web dickhead. Someone is trying to block your positive changes. 2, military crime in reverse. Okay. So, you know it's bad when people who you've actually gone and done the soul work required to try and expose the networks of other people who try to snatch away loved ones and children who you care about each every day. That you were the person that went and tried to expose them to make sure that the future generations would be safe. But then again, you know, the worst thing that, if you ask me, is the fact that somebody took on that spiritual battle and then somebody else got the money. 31 in reverse, you see. Somebody didn't want the cycle to complete. That's already been closed, so they're actually at closed doors, respectfully. T in reverse, alright. This is because somebody hates the trans community. It's a bias at play. Mountain in reverse today. Yeah, I'm not climbing any mountains for anybody who isn't going to support me. Feb in reverse. What's with this? Supreme Court in reverse. Yeah, somebody didn't want anybody to have anything, either love, money, stable foundation, new beginnings in any capacity. They just wanted this person to be not breathing, actually. High Court in reverse. Ethical hacker in reverse. Yeah, this person didn't realize the full extent of how other people can research independently and the fact that we can. Yeah, somebody has questions. Because ethical hacker in the upright today. Yes, there are ethical spiritual hackers too, okay? But some of us do it in a very discreet kind of way, which means that we ethically hack without actually causing system failure to other people in as best we can. We de-escalate and dismantle the weapons in a way that helps other people to choose the opportunity to learn and grow. But we also keep the energy, alright? Because low impact rounds in a spiritual fight. 23, 2 and 3 is 5, alright, and then we've got 17 coming out in the fight. So 5 to 8, or 8 to 5. Somebody doesn't want somebody else to be able to drive. V is in the upright today, because weapon in reverse, okay. So time is in reverse, dark deeds are in reverse. Somebody has run out of the ability to delay the fact that they were engaged in the third party bullshit doppelganger business at the end of the day. X marks the spot apparently today. Plunderous pirates in the worst kind of way. Failed gift transfer as you're still alive. A. This person actually, yeah, Hierophant in reverse, okay. Look, letter, breakthrough, bribe. This is a large collective energy of a large international case, actually. There's a cult in reverse today. The bonds are in the upright and the crime is now seen for what it is at the end of the day. Somebody tried to contract, yeah, there was a contract put out on somebody in order to prevent them from having active healing. They wanted to close down the chakra system totally so that this person would be numb without feeling. New lawyer. This is part of the problem, okay? Some people now want to block anybody else from being able to have any position in a legal capacity because they've no foresight, because they don't have the audacity. I'm tired today. Excuse the fact that I didn't put on makeup, okay? If you knew some of the heavy spell work that I get dealt with each and every day, it's exhausting, okay? Karma walking in reverse, you see. Diamonds in the upright, respectfully. I think that people have already pillaged the earth, okay? January, what's with this today? Somebody wants a second attempt to get into your energy, but she knows what she did and she's been proven to be a frenemy. Someone tried heavy manipulations magic. Just came out, you see. Person in the upright. There's somebody you've got a heart of gold out there, okay? Good law are in the house and they're going to figure out a way. They're going to figure out a way. Yeah, somebody Petty occultist 28 has apparently sealed her fate. Group. Pardon me. My living accommodations aren't easy. Delete. This is the problem now. The person who they try to get and strike out the psychic gifts, they've done multiple attacks on this person's crown chakra, okay? They've done multiple health attacks. They're now at the point where some of the most senior dark diabolical hierophant male energies can't figure out how to get this done. At the end of the day, there's no possible way. They've been outranked spiritually, and somebody's losing hefty money each and every day. Each and every day, the stocks are declining on this person's public persona in a big way. One of the things that I like to do when I'm dealing with narcissistic unaliver energy too is to use my magic and my throat chakra in the upright. Why don't you say what you wanna say? Let it all hang out. Honestly, I want to see you be brave. Independent, individual, intent, integrity, interest. So they're now at the point, okay, because sterling in reverse, the stock markets aren't playing. And they're losing out in a big bad way because light magic is in the upright, okay, and the contract is in reverse, and the reality that they're trying to spin is absolutely the worst. It's absolutely the worst. Not official person, you see. How can you be official if the system doesn't actually allow you to have the documentation you require, even on a passport, respectively? Some people are afraid that the more that you multiply your independence, all told, the more that they can't have you sold for gold. Familiars are protecting your back. If you've got animals and you care for them, okay, even if you don't have the finances required to treat them as well as you would, entity contained. You're doing the best you can, okay? The dark magic isn't landing because of your pure devotion to your path and how much that you've done the soul work. Take action, speak up, okay? Corporate espionage at play. 11, which is a master builder, that's a you, or letting go is significant too. The worst merchant in history, true and true. I'm asking, ting, what's with this? Ting to the tang. Okay, so somebody is now worried about the metal of somebody else's intellectual mind. The blade is too sharp and this person is feeling left behind. Intuition. Stupid idea to misdirect. In reverse. The illusions aren't working at the end of the day because some of us were born to shatter the illusions. And I'm not talking about, Q and intuition. I'm not talking about the illusions of good entertainment, okay, or the wholesome magic that people put on for children's display. I'm talking about the illusions of pulling back the veil of jealousy, okay? I'm talking about the illusions of intercepted money that should have gone to the right type of people who would make sure that it was handled with the right type of generosity, with the right type of humanitarian care, all told. Unaliving magic in the upright, okay? Because what's happened is somebody else, thief in reverse. Because they couldn't lower your frequency enough to quench your thirst, you're now not sacrificable, which means that the person who took out the soul contract's going to have to pay the price. Yeah. Espionage, spying, scrying, lying just came out. Child ring exposed, okay? I'm being told to set aside that for a moment and pull from the nefarious deck, alright? Somebody has a lot of questions, okay? I'm energetically sitting in a safe house with some high-level people who are working on some high-level documents in a foreign country, okay? Okay, so this came out in reverse, which is important today. Youth work issues are at play: observation, subtext, tone, wording, attention, vetting, guidelines, training, grooming alert. So because it's in reverse, you see the person who is targeted is now considered to be a reliable resource, although people are treating it quite quietly. High ringing in the right ear and a pop in the left ear simultaneously. Implicated. The conclusion that can be drawn from something, although not explicitly stated, the action or state of being involved in something. So there's certain states globally that are struggling with things, okay? 11, Stranger Things, psychological stalker, PS, social media trawling, snatched over body snatch, this isn't D&D, role play, being a decent human. Alright, respectfully. So one of the things that I hate about certain illusions, okay, is that a lot of the glamour magic's done in certain spheres and industries, alright? It's done by harvesting the energy of the supporters and the fans in a way that is non-consensually agreed to at the end of the day, which means that when people, somebody doesn't like that I've said that, but anyway, when people don't engage in those practices, okay, when they don't sign the diabolical contracts or operate in that kind of way, they don't have the same level of glow or shine that other people have stolen away from other people who are just decent humans, okay? Then they get shamed publicly, you see, because they don't show a false or that was never theirs, respectfully. A lot of actors and theatrical types or radio presenters or whatever, okay, just think of it in that kind of sphere today. A lot of people who their image is part of their body of works. There's a lot of diabolical contracts that people force them into at a young age at the end of the day in order to be able to have some kind of sway. It's part of the reason why being independent and not dealing with certain management structures makes it a double-edged sword, okay? The monster comes from the sea. Tentacles try to pull you down. Be careful when you clown around. Don't drown. Machiavellianism. Win at all costs. Egocentric, sabotage, intellect, enemy, mirroring, mastermind, megamind, murder mind, puppet strings. This is part of the reason, okay? A lot of them will have quite really big siphoning vampiric energy that they'll do. Irish alchemy, nerd deck time, strength over squares with spiritual crimes. Okay, one moment please.